McDonough. Pretty much just a campaign to spread awareness on the disease of cholera and how dangerous it can be. So what is cholera? So Vibrio cholerae is a bacteria that is considered to be a waterborne illness due to the fact that oftentimes people contract it from consuming unsanitary drinking water. Once you've contracted the disease, it must be treated pretty much as soon as possible, or else it can be fatal, and it is actually fatal 25–50% of the time. So my target audience is most people who are who deal with water and food insecurity, which is a lot of areas around the world, but I'm specifically focusing on Western Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa, which you can see in the colored areas. They're just affected most out of any continent in the world. Why is this important? Cholera itself can be very debilitating to the human body, causing severe dehydration and diarrhea. If not treated, it can easily lead to death. Once you've contracted cholera, the goal is to get immediate access to clean water or treatment. The problem is people often go for the brief rehydration, drinking the dirty water, which temporarily feels good, and it will only make you feel worse and make the symptoms worse. So where do these outbreaks stem from? So scientists have established the existence of these environmental reservoirs holding absurd amounts of bacteria, which can be attributed to causing massive outbreaks. So they have used satellite remote monitoring and have been able to track these outbreaks months before they occur, so there is ample time to prepare. And major rivers have been the cause just because they reach so many different locations in the continent and help the disease spread more rapidly. Climate change, how it affects the spread. So climate change only progresses the transmission. It causes extreme weather events like natural disasters, which can be devastating to communities. They also wipe out food and water supplies and spread dirty water containing bacteria to more locations. With more bacteria spread out and less water, it is only tougher for people to stay hydrated. And hotter climates, when it gets more extreme, the air and ground only get drier, and that does not help anyone. So the poor economic state of Africa. Obviously, Africa's GDP, or the nations of Africa, have very low GDPs in general, and that's due to a lot of them having tyrants where they are selfish and allocate resources to the wrong places. No money has been invested, or little to no money has been invested in irrigation, the use of fertilizers, and other commercial inputs, mechanisms, etc. Water supply and the socioeconomic development of a nation are dependent on each other, so when one is lacking, the other will lack. So to boost the water supply, we should boost the socioeconomic development. And my two health messages, my first one is a letter that I will send directly to be presented at in front of the Council of the United Nations Conference. This way, a lot of powerful global leaders can hear my message, which is pretty much just a plea to guarantee better allocation of money and resources to people in Western Sub-Saharan Africa. And I will try and reach my target audience with it, hopefully by mailing out copies to different communities in those regions. And my second is a radio public service announcement, which will directly reach my target audience because most have access to radio, letting them know ways to avoid contracting cholera, and if they do, what are things to do to, speed up the recovery process if they are able to get treated. And in conclusion, water scarcity is obviously a major problem for a lot of people, and I think it's very unfair that a necessity like water is unable to reach for a lot of people.